Hey, you guys, welcome to Waterbox Live. We're coming at you. It's green today. It's freshwater. Freshwater day today.
Gotta love it. Good.
Like, share, subscribe, hit those notifications. We're live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. We'll drop this intro and we'll be right back.
All right, we're back, and everyone's like, "What are you doing today?" So,
Got the tweezers.
he's got some holes over here. So we are actually revisiting the Clear 16. I think our last update on it was about a month ago when we did a series on it. It is the planted aquarium that we have here in the studio, and we're going to check on it today. Do a little maintenance, add a few things to it. It's looking pretty good, but it needs a little bit of love, and we wanted to add some stuff to it. So we're going to focus on that today and kind of do a how-to on maintenance of your planted aquarium. So something.
So for all you planted aquarium guys, we don't forget about you.
And we're giving away Waterbox swag today.
Yes.
So that's always good. Win a free shirt. Never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. And these shirts are awesome, you guys. We call them the Waterbox Fresh t-shirts.
They're beautiful.
Because they're popping fresh.
And I think we have our first one to give away.
We do.
We do? I thought we did. I thought we did in the beginning.
So those of you guys in here early on YouTube, one of you guys right now is going to win a Waterbox Fresh t-shirt. Keenan's going to get that for us here in just a second.
And don't worry, Facebook, we haven't forgotten about you. We'll give away a shirt to someone on Facebook a little bit later in the show as well.
YouTube.
So our YouTube winner for the shirt is Leisha VK.
So congratulations, Leisha. If you're down there, post, I want a t-shirt. Congratulations, that's awesome.
Email support@waterboxaquariums.com, give me your information, and they'll get you taken care of with a shirt. So congrats. Yeah. So that's a fun way to start the show. We're gonna check on the Clear 16, but we actually are bringing back a segment that we did a while ago by popular demand. Bringing it back is Ask Jess.
Yes.
So I know a lot of times we don't get a lot of questions answered in the show necessarily. A lot of people have questions for us. So now you can actually email your questions into askjess@waterboxaquariums.com. Some of them will be featured on the show. Other ones I'll go ahead and reply directly to you as well. So anything that you kind of want to know, send them on in. So let's check it out. All right,
you guys. Ask Jess coming at you again every week. If you don't know how to ask the questions after the stream, email askjess@waterboxaquariums.com. The first question we have is, hi Jess, do you think I could use a frag tank for cichlids, specifically what is that? Okay.
African cichlids.
Yeah, African cichlids. And is this canister filter better for them, or will an under tank sump be enough? And this is from Robert.
All right, Robert. So for really any of our systems, Frag, Reef, the ones that have some systems, Pro, Peninsula, perfectly good for freshwater, cichlids, anything like that. So the Frag series in particular is 16 high, so there's plenty of height. And then a very nice footprint for that, really any freshwater fish. And your sump system is going to be better than a canister, because a canister is going to have a usually lower flow, smaller area that you can put media and equipment. The sump system is going to let you have higher flow, more room for reactors if you want a media, filter socks, polish the water really nice. So you're actually better off with a sump system.
Yeah.
I think overall, especially for cichlids, because you stock heavy and they're dirty.
So if you guys didn't watch Eel Island, that was a series we did where we did a saltwater aquarium. We then converted it into a freshwater fish aquarium. So yes, they're great for that. We house and you guys can see that too, where we converted that in our videos. Jess, the next question is, what are the best plants for a beginner and low maintenance?
That's actually perfect for this week because that's what we're focusing on with the Clear 16. So you want to stick to, if you want to go, not having to dose too much fertilizers, no CO2, all that, you want to stick to things like Java fern, moss balls, most of the Anubias. You've got a lot of your Amazon sword plants, and like the little cryptocornians ones are all going to be low maintenance, low to medium light, and easy care as far as not needing CO2 and all that stuff. So, and that's really what we've got all in this Clear 16 is because that's low maintenance, easy setup right here.
Yeah, and these Clear 16 or these Clear Minis are great for all these little plants too because you don't have to have the CO2 systems and stuff.
Yeah.
So as you can see there, beautiful.
Doing good.
Love it. Alrighty, question number 3 says, what precautions should I take when adding driftwood to my aquarium? That's a great question.
Yeah, just throwing some driftwood into your tank can get you into a lot of trouble because most of it is not going to be pre-treated to where it's not going to leach what's called tannins, and that's what discolors your water brown. So if you put in a piece that you haven't kind of pre-cured a bit, your water is going to turn brown regularly. You're going to have to run carbon in there and do lots of water changes, and it's going to take a long time for that not to reoccur. So a simple way to do it is to soak the driftwood in a bucket or a bin, and then change out the water regularly in there. As soon as it starts to turn kind of brown, empty the water, put fresh water, and that's going to naturally leach it out. You can also boil the wood, but generally most of your pieces of driftwood are going to be too big to boil, so you're better off using a bucket or a bin or whatever.
Okay, that's interesting. It kind of reminds me of like, on the saltwater end of the spectrum where you have to cure live rock or something like that. You're almost like curing the wood in a sense to get those tannins out.
Because you put a piece of driftwood right in and your tank is just brown and ruined for a long time. You don't know why, and it's never going to look as pretty. So do take those extra steps and it'll help a lot.
Alrighty, last question, you guys, for Ask Jess is, can I use a regular aquarium gravel for a planted aquarium?
I would not suggest it because most of your plants do need certain nutrients that's going to be held in, but basically substrate that's sold for planted aquariums. It's got nutrients in it, and it's going to feed, a lot of your plants are root-based feeding, and that's going to feed them, and it's also got the right texture for roots to be able to grow properly. Your regular aquarium gravel is, it's got nothing for the plants. So it's really not going to be beneficial in any way.
So you're saying don't go and buy like a pink gravel and try to put plants in it?
You could, but I don't think it's going to be as nice, and it's not going to be as happy. So do spend a little bit of extra money on the actual substrate meant for planted aquariums. Yeah,
definitely. Alrighty, guys, that's it for Ask Jess. Again, remember, if you want to get your questions submitted to be answered live here on Waterbox Live, email askjess@Waterbox Aquariums, and we will hopefully put those live.
Yeah, I'll do that every single week. All right, cool. So now we get to work on the Clear 16.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't watch, I think it was probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
At least. We did a 2-week build on this Clear Mini 16 where we set it up from A to Z, and we're revisiting it this week because it's right here in the studio, and we're going to do some maintenance on it. We're also going to add some plants.
Yeah, so we're going to add some plants to it, and it has become, it needs a little bit of love. There's a little bit of extra algae that's gone into it. We've been focusing on the cube build that we just did. So it is time for a little bit of maintenance for it, and it's pretty simple, especially at this size. My head's behind the light. Hey. So basically what we're going to generally do is I'm going to put in the new plants, clean the glass, clean the filter before we remove any water, because a lot of doing that's going to stir stuff up in the aquarium. Yep. So one first thing I'm going to do is, while it's still kind of clean, everything's in place, is go ahead and put the new plants in. And we got some moss balls and some other ground cover, so to fill in some of these little spots.
These guys are probably wondering if I color coordinated my drink today. I'd like to think that I did, but I didn't.
It looks really nice. Do you remember the name of these that you ordered?
Those are Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. And they come in like this rock wool. And when you get these in this, a lot of times if you can, just gently pull away some of the rock wool. This one, because it's like a carpeting foreground plant, it's not really going to come out of the rock wool too well. But I am going to gently kind of make it into 2 pieces so I can spread it around the tank a little bit easier. So real gentle, kind of pull that apart, and then I'm gonna kind of just spread it to some of the areas that, because we have these little baby tier ones. These are going to be a little bit,
tiers.
yeah, these are going to be a little bit taller and provide some height into it.
Yeah, I love
and
these.
are probably a bit of a faster grower as well, just due to their size.
Yeah, and just so they all know, Jess, we've ran into some challenges here with the baby tiers. They're not growing as fast as we would like them to, because we did have a little bit of like a green, what do you call it, like a green hair algae or something.
Yes,
that was inhibiting its growth just a little bit. But so we're battling the normal, new tank kind of syndrome.
Yeah, so.
We have a good question here. Ferdy, have you guys considered doing a large aquarium? We do have large aquariums. This is one of our smallest aquariums, actually. We make aquariums all the way up to 220 gallons.
Yeah, so that one here.
You can have a gigantic 220-gallon planted aquarium.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
There would be very little maintenance on
this
that.
This one's going to keep whole because we have a nice big open spot in the very back here. Yeah, I don't want to. And we're going to put that back here and let that fill in the back. You can't really see that too much from the angle, but it's going to give some good ground cover in the back here. And as you can see, these dwarf baby tiers have actually, some of them have separated, actually are growing on the surface and like kind of put roots up there. I'm actually going to catch those out just because as they grow, they can kind of actually block out light. So we don't really necessarily want a lot of them floating. So those you can kind of just scoop out of here. And it's like any of the baby tiers, they've come loose, just come to the surface, and they actually have roots that hang down. It's really pretty, but it does block out some of the light.
Yeah, I've already pulled out a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like, they're getting pretty thick up there.
These are pretty cool. And they're actually good for filtering your water and just helping to clean them. Moss balls. So they're really just balls of moss. That's all they do. But they're actually good for filtering water. And these are like super low maintenance. I don't think they require hardly any type of care.
Yeah, they're just good.
They help filter the water.
Yeah.
And we do have just like a quick front glass cleaning because even fresh water gets that same buildup where you need to clean your glass regularly as all of the other aquariums. So I mean, upkeep is very similar to freshwater, saltwater, anything of the general maintenance that you have to do. And we're just
this is a very low tech planted tank. We do have a lot of Waterbox owners that do have what we call high-tech planted tanks that run a big CO2 systems. They go crazy with the different kinds of equipment, almost to like when you look at like a high-tech reef tank. I mean, they're buying that high-dollar equipment and they're really getting into it. So there's a ton of different ways to do this, but this is what we're showing you here again is like the really simple way, just to have a nice planted aquarium on a desktop or something like that.
Yeah, like you want to do a planted aquarium for the first time, here's an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Not really any major equipment needed for it. And then...
Pretty low maintenance too. We're topping it off. We're doing, how many water changes have we done on this system?
Like 1 or 2, nothing real major. And with this one we use tap water that we dechlorinate. Because you don't really want it too clean like RODI water would be. And I'm going to unplug the filter because I'm going to clean out the sponge.
Tony says, let's go.
Woo! So some easy maintenance. And with this, so we have the shark filter in here. On the very bottom is where it sucks up and it will have like any debris. So it is a really nice feature as far as this bottom part just magnets off.
Yeah, so if you guys...
I put my net under it so that any of that debris that's stuck to it would just end up free floating. You'll see some of the dirt does come out. And that's why I'm doing it before I go and do the water change, because a lot of this will settle and we can clean it up with the water change.
So the filter you guys are looking at in there is a Sicce shark, right?
Yeah, it's Sicce
so this is
shark.
a submersible filter. It just suctions right to the side of the tank. It's really low profile. It's great for these clear minis. And you can see the way that Jess originally installed it was kind of hidden back behind the driftwood and the plants. Give you a little bit better aesthetics.
And I have a little bit of like a media bag in there. We'll replace that. And then it has a filter sponge. With this, I do try to always use like old tank water or something, not tap water, because some good bacteria does grow on this. So it is part of helping to be like a stable point of your aquarium. If you can, always rinse your sponges in like old water or whatnot. So just a little bit of a squeeze. I'm gonna put that back in. Yeah, these shark filters are super easy maintenance because I don't have to take anything out. That just like, it's held by a magnet. Put it back together. Got a top that goes on. And then that is ready to go. I'm gonna go and leave that in there because I'm gonna siphon like under that. And then we have, like we're talking about, a little bit of that algae that has grown in here. So I'm taking just a toothbrush, quick cleanup of the driftwood and the rocks in here of some of that like filamentous kind of soft algae.
If you guys have any questions too, drop them in the comments below. I'll drag Facebook over here so I'm not leaving you guys out. And Keenan, if you see anything, you see any good questions in there, I'd be happy to.
No more rum?
No more rum.
rum.
Oh my god, they've been calling us out.
I know.
We had two solid drinking weeks, and they're like, "We want to see you guys drinking again." Jess, I think you just got to remind me next week.
I guess. I think last week we said this as well because they were calling us out on it, and we're like, "Oh yeah, next week," and I think we just forgot again.
We want to get a margarita machine.
Yes. Then I'm game. Then I'm all game.
We'll put some beach scenes like on the TVs behind us. Yeah.
And then end it with just a happy hour chit chat and be good. So I think they enjoy us drinking, if I can take anything from that. So just a quick kind of cleanup. Like I said, it's nothing major, just touch up work. And then all we're gonna do is drain out some water. It'll give us a chance to siphon up some of the debris that's fallen down at the bottom.
Steve says, is the back of the tank fogged? What he means is the back of the tank have like a frosted appearance. Yes, it does. So these clear minis don't come. We call them clear for a reason because it's just a clear, all sides are completely clear stock. But if you add, if you go on Amazon, or I'm sure there's many other places that sell it, it's basically a frosted window tint, right?
Yep, and we just adhered it with some water, and then you basically squeegee it on, and you're good to go. So
Steve, if you look back at the original 2 videos we shot with this particular aquarium, you can see us install that.
We hold this right here for a second, right?
I sure can. I got the easy job over here.
Yeah. All right.
I got the tweezers.
I just sucked out some Java fern. Oh, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it, but our Java fern is actually reproducing. And it actually takes has these little babies that grow on the tip of the leaves. And as they get bigger, they actually kind of pop off and start to free float. And then we can put them back around the tank. So they're like self-propagating. There's like little babies hanging out on these leaves. There's a question. Yes, Keenan.
Are the tannins good for the aquarium?
I don't think they necessarily do any harm. It's just going to be more that it takes away the look of the aquarium by being more of the brown color. But I don't necessarily think that it's harmful. It's just viewing wise, it does, take away from it. And generally, if we've got a beautiful tank, we want the water nice and clear.
Yeah, and it can be kind of frustrating in the beginning, especially if you're just setting up your aquarium and you get to stare at that nice brown water for about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you can get that done ahead of time, it's always better.
Another question, can a UV sterilizer light help with the algae?
With the algae, yes, but I think that you don't want to necessarily keep your tank that clean. With that, I don't know if UVs are really commonly used in freshwater. I don't feel that they are for planted aquariums, but it would take away free-floating algae in the water column. It doesn't necessarily really fix too much if it's growing on a surface.
Yeah, Barb says tannins are great for betas. Another one said that they were good for cichlids, I think.
Yeah, there's some fish and stuff like that, brackish or type of what they actually sell like leaves and things like that produce, some tannins or the qualities to the water. But in this scenario, I don't really have a need for it. So we're not taking out too much. Like I said, you don't want your tank to be too clean of nutrients because the plants feed on it. So which is another reason we don't use like RODI water like we do for our reef tanks, is you do want some of that nutrients in there.
Yep, we lost our light. We lost. Oh no, never mind. I thought the light was off.
All right, dump this. All right, that's all.
So again, if you guys got questions, put them below. We got Keenan, we got myself monitoring them while Jess does the heavy lifting.
Just cleaning the tank. Y'all do whatever. All right, and see, so the shark filter, I'm putting it back in, just making sure the leaves don't get stuck under it, but it's a magnet, boom, right on. So really cool filter. I like using that one. Easy to maintain, not hard as far as
PJ has a really cool question, actually.
Yeah.
And I never really thought of this, but he says, is there such thing as a marine planted tank?
There are, and I've seen them done before because you have a lot of like shaving brush algae, and you can use, you know, different types. They're harder to source, and there's not a huge variety, so I don't think people...
Probably not in high demand either.
It's not, and you can find them at like a lot of places that like sell cleanup crew or stuff like that probably have a lot of your marine algae, but I don't think many people focus the whole tank on it because there's only like 3 or 4 varieties you can usually get easily at all. But you can actually have a planted marine tank.
I challenge you guys to pick up a Reef 130.4 and create a or any marine tank for that matter. That'd be pretty cool to see. There was somebody in our user group, and I can't recall the name, that had a very, like almost like a macro algae kind of like dominated tank. I've seen some colder water tanks that do that too.
Cold waters are really cool too, but another issue is just the sourcing of the items. There is not a lot of places to get a lot of different macroalgae types for saltwater, cold water species, anything like that.
Got a question, Keenan?
Yeah, are we dosing anything into the plant for the plants?
So we are dosing a little bit of a fertilizer from Aquarium Co-op called Easy Green. That's a free plug for them. But yeah, it's Easy Green. It is a free plug. It's Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op, you guys. And we also did pick up these moss balls and the Monte Carlo from them as well.
But yeah, so a tank like this, for the most part, your dosing for anything is going to be pretty minimal. You know, your fish are going to provide a lot of the waste product, but I would say, you know, something simple like that isn't real, you know, real advanced isn't bad to add on occasion. And this is also why we use like tap water and stuff, because we don't want it to be too pure of the water we use. But these guys, you know, our drought ferns and stuff are growing pretty good. We'll just add some more, so it's not a bad idea to now start doing something simple, but nothing that's going to require you testing in different bottles and stuff like that. All right, and then plug her back in.
Judah Soup says, how often do you have to do this?
I mean, I'm trying like every 2 weeks to come in here and just do a little bit of a water change, clean it up. You know, every couple of days I come in and touch up anything that, you know, needs to be replanted or moved or kind of cleaned up, and that's it. And then the rest of this is going to get sucked up by the filter for any of the stuff that's free floating, and adding that new carbon in there will help clear the water up. We did not put in a filter media that has phosphate remover in it though, because you don't want to, like I said, once again, make it too clean. So it's more of just a carbon and a resin packet. So it looks a little bit dirtier, but that's just like any tank. You gotta make it a little bit dirtier once you clean it. And that's really it for your just general upkeep.
I have a winner of a Waterbox Fresh t-shirt on Facebook.
Oh, who
Do we have
is?
a Ryan Daniel Jen with us? Woo! If you're in here, Ryan, post in the comments. Congratulations, you got yourself a Waterbox Fresh t-shirt. Really awesome shirt.
Yep, email in at support@waterboxaquariums.com and they'll get you all hooked up.
Yeah.
Yay!
Good stuff. So again, you guys, we just did a little bit of maintenance here on this clear Mini 16 that we, you know, had about a 2-week setup on to show you guys kind of how to set up a low maintenance, easy to, you know, get started in a planted aquarium.
Looking nice. It'll
yeah,
all be
that's
cleared up in
great.
about an hour. It'll all be cleared up. We got some new plants in there. That'll help fill in, and the fish and everyone's super happy. So, and like I said, we don't do a lot of care to this. It's super easy, low maintenance. You know, anyone can do it. It's a great starter system for a planted aquarium.
Yep. Jess, next week,
Yes.
we have a pretty cool show planned.
Do we?
We do.
I don't know what we're doing.
Because I was just thinking about this. So guys, next week, I want to see you all back here, because not only are you going to win stuff, but we're talking about sourcing corals and fish and plants. Like where do you go? Like how do you do it sustainably? You know, where's the best place to shop, so on and so forth. And hopefully we're even going to be giving you a tour of a brand new retail store.
Oh, that's exciting. So that'll be a lot of fun for next week.
Yeah. And so that's great coming on next week. And then starting June 24th, we're starting what everyone has been waiting for, the frag build.
Woo!
Yeah.
Very exciting. So that's going to be a long series. Very awesome things coming with that one. Very excited to get that going. Lots of work to go.
So whether you're a freshwater or saltwater person, you guys want to tune in for that, because it's going to be really cool. It's going to be 8 weeks, A to Z, setting up one of our frag series aquariums. We've just set up a brand new set for it here in the building, so it's going to be awesome. And we're also going to be giving away some pretty expensive high dollar stuff, so you want to be around for that as well.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.